Okay, let's kick off. Let's get going. So thank you for joining. My goodness, we've got a big one, a big topic this evening. So I'm going to read it out to remind myself as well as everybody else what Jehan asked, and it's this. It's dear therapist in my pocket. Please, can you explain how I can manifest what I want? So, dear therapist in my pocket, please, can you explain how I can manifest what I want? You talk a lot about allowing, but then I read about vision boards and visualizing. So then I wake every morning and say affirmations. I tell myself that I'm lucky and healthy and happy and wealthy, but nothing changes. Where am I going wrong? That's a big one, a really big one. I've got a mind map here that I'm going to keep referring to because I thought I need to put my thoughts together on this one. So let's begin with this. How can I manifest what I want? Well, the first question then is, how do we know what we want? How do we know what we want? What does that mean? What does that mean? We often think or interpret that to mean something tangible, like possessions or a relationship or a house or a car or a particular job. That's what we think of when we think of manifesting. And an awful lot of talking and writing about manifesting has focused on that. How do I get what I want? And want is interpreted to mean things. So, problem is, the universe doesn't react to that, because when we're focusing on what we want in that way, we're actually focusing on our doubt that we can have it. When we say, I want to be rich, or I want my dream relationship, the very fact that we are asking that, hi, thanks for the waves, lovely to see you. The very fact that we're asking that in that way is emphasizing to us that we haven't got it. We're focusing on lack, and we're also focusing on doubt that we can have those things. So that's immediately a problem, because doubt and wanting, because wanting is linked to doubt, is a low vibration. It vibrates at a very low level. And in order to manifest, we need to be vibrating at a higher level, because this is a vibrational universe. And we, because we're part of the universe, not separate from it, we're not asking the universe to do something for us. We are co-creating with the universe, because we are a part of the universe. We are part of the universal consciousness, which is the universe. And so whatever we are creating in ourselves by what we are doing and thinking is inevitably affecting the vibration of the reality around us. So, first point, it doesn't help to think in terms of wanting, because that is to focus on lack and on doubt. Second, we're not asking the universe to do something, neither are we trying to make the universe do something. We are the universe. We are as much a part of the universe as a drop of water in the ocean is part of the ocean. We are not separate. And so what we do is co-creating reality in partnership with the universe. So don't focus on wanting. That's doubt and lack. Don't think of it in terms of trying to make the universe do something. Let that help you question what your beliefs or understanding of the universe actually are. So, what are your beliefs about the universe? If you think of it as something out there that you've got to make do something, it makes it sound like it doesn't really want to do it. You've got to work really hard. You've got to say affirmations all the time, and you've got affirmations are effectively modern prayers. That's what they are. So it's like you're trying to persuade in the way that we once believed we had to try to persuade God to give you something, and that it's reluctant to do that. So try this for size. Try the possibility that the universe is benign, that the universe is loving and generous and wanting you to feel joy and happiness, wanting you to have the life and the experience that you are looking for, is not fighting you, is not blocking you, is happy for you to co-create within it. So then what blocks manifesting? Doubt, focusing on lack, and not understanding how we manifest. So let's talk about the difference between thoughts and between thoughts and feelings. So there's a lot of talk again about thoughts become things. If you think it, it will manifest. And that causes a lot of fear and worry for a lot of people, because they think, I've really got to watch my thoughts. You see those thoughts, don't you? Those words as posts on Facebook or Instagram. Be careful what you think. Be careful what you think, because you can manifest it. If you think the wrong thing, it will happen. The worst that can happen is that you block your ability to manifest through fear and anxiety and trying too hard, because trying hard is again fear-based. Why do we try hard? Because we think if we don't, it won't happen. So what position do we need to hold in order to manifest? And remembering that this is a vibrational universe, so we're talking about vibration. We're talking about vibration. So let's think about the highest vibration there is. Probably joy. Probably joy. And then let me tell you what I read about 20 years ago, I would say, that absolutely clinched for me the heart of manifesting. And it was a piece in one of Greg Braden's books. I don't know if you know Greg Braden, but he talks a lot about this kind of issue. And in one of his books, he described how he spent some time with an indigenous tribe, and they were in a dry season and they desperately needed rain. Their crops, their animals were going to die. They needed rain, and yet it was in the dry season and they were in big trouble. And so one of the elders of the village invited Greg to go with him to do a rain ceremony. And so off they went. The elder and Greg, and they went out into the mountains and into a particular circle, an area carved out, surrounded by mountains. And the elder told Greg that this place was sacred to his people, and whenever he stood in this place, he could feel the presence of his ancestors. Now, that's the first thing, the feeling. The feeling was of connection, of oneness, of there being no separation between what he was about to think and what the universe would wish in flowing through him. That's what the ancestors means. It is all that is. So in this sacred place, the elder felt the sacredness and the oneness of everything. Felt it. And do you see immediately how different that is to I want a house that's like this. I want a car. I want to be rich. I want that relationship. It doesn't begin there, because that's about separateness and it's about me, me, me. It begins in oneness. He was also wanting to manifest something that he could ask for in love for the benefit of all. He wanted it too, but his dominant vibration was of love and care and concern. And so again, he was joining with the oneness, the consciousness of all that is. Just compare those two. Oneness, separateness, remembering who he is, having no idea, or forgetting. So that's the first thing, joining with the oneness, coming from the right place. The second is what he did next. And what he did next was he stood with his back to Greg, very still for about 5 minutes. Greg was puzzled because he thought he was going to see a ceremony of some kind. He thought he would be watching the elder carry out some kind of ritual, but actually the elder simply stood with his back to him, very still for about 5 minutes. And then he turned back to Greg and he said that it was done and that there would be rain within the next 24 hours. And then he invited Greg to go back with him to the village to eat the evening meal. And within a few hours, it began to rain. And when Greg asked the elder how he had brought rain, this was his answer. And this is another component of how to manifest. The elder said, I stood in that place of connection with my ancestors, with all that is, and I felt their presence, so I stepped into oneness. I can't manifest in separateness, I have to manifest in oneness. And so I felt the presence of my ancestors. I connected to everything around me, and I became one with it. And then I felt rain. I closed my eyes, and for those 5 minutes that you thought I was doing nothing, my eyes were closed and I could hear rain, I could smell rain, I could taste rain, I could feel my feet in the mud as the rain softened this hard earth, and I was fully immersed in the experience of the rain. And then, when I knew it was enough, I turned to you I knew that the ceremony had finished, and we went back to eat. And here we are, the rain. So let's just recap. How do you manifest? You have to step into oneness, not separateness. You step into oneness because you are a co-creator with the universe. So you are co-creating. You are sharing vibrational space with the universe. As the elder did, you are not separate, competing, saying me, 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 I want, I want. That isn't where it happens. So that was the first thing. We step into oneness. Second, you feel it and live it as if it is happening. I spent a wonderful day in London a couple of years ago with Lynn McTaggart. I don't know if you are aware of Lynn McTaggart, but her area of research is intention. Her first book was called The Intention Experiment, and it's highly detailed and scientific work. So her intention experiments are then written up, and the data is analysed, and she can tell you to the percentage the change that the intention had made. And two things. One was, she told me about an experiment that she and a group of people had done in America, where they had sat just outside a city in America and held the intention that the pollution, they wanted to see if they could clear air pollution. And so they measured the air pollution, the degree of air pollution, and then they gathered in a group just outside the city and they held the intention of clearing and cleaner air. And exactly as that elder that I described did, they felt the air become purer. They felt the freshness of the air. They felt everything change. And what happened was that the US Air Force scrambled a number of fighter planes and sent them to that area because the energy of that intention had shown up on their radar screen as something that they didn't recognise and they hadn't seen before. And all they could assume inevitably was that it was a hostile force. But actually what had happened is they had cleared an area of pollution immediately above them and around them. And they did it by doing what the elder did. They felt it. They made it real. So manifesting involves making something real. I do it in a really simple way. We don't do it now at the moment, do we? Because we're all in lockdown and we're in this terrible pandemic. But in the days when we might go to a city, to a shopping centre, and go into a huge multi-storey car park to look for a parking space, I have never ever, I say never ever, for the last 5-10 years I've never struggled to find a parking space. And it's because I drive into that multi-storey car park knowing that I will find a car parking space. And when I say knowing, I mean the feeling within me is that it's going to be easy. I'm going to drive in and I'm going to see a parking space and just drive straight into it. And that is what happens. That is what I do. Always. And I've also described in previous lives how I might be on holiday on a beach and notice that the clouds are gathering and that it's going to rain, and hold in my mind and imagination and the feeling in my body that actually it's going to pass over and the sun is going to come back out. And inevitably it does. So Greg would say the feeling is the prayer. The feeling is the prayer. That sums it up for me. If you want to manifest, if you want to co-create with the universe, and anyway you're doing that all the time, the feeling is the vibration. Thoughts are not vibrational. The feeling that we attach to thoughts is vibrational. The highest vibrations come from love and joy, and that's what you feel when you know that what you're imagining is going to happen and you have become one with the universe. And that is how we manifest. We recognize that we are part of the oneness of all that is, and we join with that oneness to co-create. And we do it from a place of utter belief that what we are imagining and feeling will manifest itself. Lynn McTaggart asked us, there's a group of, I don't know, maybe there were 200 people there in that hall. And we carried out some experiments actually in the hall itself with people who had come with various issues. And the person that I was involved with had a frozen shoulder, enormously painful. Their shoulder had frozen and they couldn't move it, and they hadn't been able to move it for several years. And we were asked to hold the intention of that shoulder becoming free again. And again, we all closed our eyes, we joined, we became one, and we imagined and felt viscerally in our bodies what it would feel like to have that shoulder loosened and freed up. And halfway through the intention, the woman in question stood up with a scream and said, "Oh my goodness, I haven't been able, look at me, I haven't been able to do this for years." And she had felt something give physically, viscerally in her shoulder. She'd felt something give. And then she found she could move. And so that is the power of intention. It's the power of intention when intention comes from the vibrational place of love and joy. I am also a Reiki practitioner and an energy healer, and I do exactly the same. So I will feel in my body what the person asking for is needing. And within moments, usually it's there. Because we are part of a vibrational universe, and we are forever co-creating within and with that flow of consciousness, benign, loving, generous, unimaginably powerful. If we allow ourselves to flow with it and it to flow through us, there is no limit. There is no limit. So let's talk about the second part of that question, which is, I wake up every morning and I say my affirmations. I tell myself that I'm lucky and healthy and happy and wealthy, but nothing changes. Now you're probably there already in terms of what I'm now going to say, because if you refer it back to We need to be one with the universe, and we need to be in the correct and necessary vibration to the point where there is no doubt. We're not focusing on lack. We're not focusing on trying to make something happen. We actually know it's a given already. Now, the problem with affirmations is we say them, but we don't feel them. We say them thinking that they reflect gratitude. And we know that gratitude's a good thing. So we believe, and we're told that if we say these things over and over and over again to ourselves, we will manifest. Or we will make ourselves vibrationally in the necessary place in order to manifest. But so many people don't mean what they are speaking as affirmations. So many people are not feeling that. So many people are not seeing that. So every time someone says an affirmation that they don't believe, because it is not their truth, it is not their reality, another little bit of doubt and another little bit of wanting creeps in. And therefore, every time those affirmations are said, the vibration that's going out is doubt, wanting, lack, fear. So my advice instead would be, start incrementally. Don't go for the big ones if you don't feel them. That's to focus on lack. That is to block manifestation. So don't focus where you can't feel. Focus where you can feel. So, I don't know, for me, when I wake in the morning, the first thing has got to be a mug of tea. So I can sit and hold that mug of tea and I can feel the warmth and I can inhale the smell of that tea. Sometimes I might put the warmth of it against my cheek and say, in this moment, all is well with me. And I have a mug of tea and warmth and a bed, and all is well with me. And if I start incrementally, that's all that's needed. Because once I've begun, the universe joins in, and I can feel my own emotion and sense of well-being gradually going up. Start incrementally. You don't have to, and actually mustn't, pretend something that you don't feel. That's really magical thinking, isn't it? It's like, if I say these words, I'm making a spell and the universe will do it. Can you see how primitive that is compared to the universe loves and cares for me, wants the best for me, is co-creating with me, and we are part of the oneness of all that is. And the way that we create is viscerally we feel. And then it must be. Another thing that people sometimes say when I talk, especially about the clouds and moving the clouds out of the way so that you can have a sunny day, another thing that people often say to me is, but what about the people who actually want rain? So here you are on holiday, saying that you want the rain to go away and you want a clear sunny sky. Well, that's fine, but isn't that selfish? Isn't that a selfish thought? How does that belong in oneness and love and joy Isn't that a really me, selfish thought? And on the surface, yes, it seems so, doesn't it? Until we start to question some assumptions. The first is that we're all manifesting the same reality. And the second is that we're all part of the exact same reality. And let me say what I mean by that. So, this is a complex universe. Do we really think that everybody in it, in this immensity of consciousness, is part of the exact same story? Or are we, as sparks of that creative energy, all contributing to the expansion of that oneness within our own path? We talk lots, don't we, about walking our path. What does that mean? What does that mean? It means that when we walk our path, everyone and everything that shows up in it is doing so to contribute to our path. So, in my reality, I can have that sunny sky, and in the farmer's reality, needing rain, the farmer can have rain. Same apparent day, same apparent place. But that's because when we go beyond what appears illusorily to be a time-space reality, when we go beyond that into the place where everything, past, present and future, all is there, and so many different parallel possibilities are also all there, because that would be one of the suggestions of quantum physics, that is what is happening. If we think what I choose in my reality does not actually wipe out or take precedence over what someone else might be manifesting in their reality, and I know that's a big thought, and it's taken me a long time to get my head around that, but it's because when we take form and we are trapped in a human brain and a human body with all its limitations, it's so hard to take on board the enormity of infinity and eternity and infinite intelligent consciousness forever expanding. But let's not limit it. Let's not limit it by simplistic thinking. Let's let it be all that it is in all its glory, way beyond anything we can imagine when we come into form and forget where we've come from. I'm just looking at my notes down here to see what else I may have left out. Okay, so maybe another thing that's worth saying. Maybe another thing that's worth saying is people also ask about our path and our intended journey and how it works that we come with a particular journey or path to walk or to live, and yet alongside we're talking about the possibility of manifesting what we want. And I can see that that's a complicated one. And I'm sure that when I leave this body and this limited brain, I will understand it all when I go back to where I came from. But at the moment, it is beyond me. But my thoughts are this. I believe that we come for some very specific life experiences, which are our invitation to grow and learn and become wiser and more compassionate and kinder, and that those are going to happen. And I believe they're going to happen because I believe we agreed that they would happen with the other co-creators born to help us in our reality to experience those things. So that is how I would understand the path. But I also think that within the path and within the general life purpose that we come to live, that there are choices constantly. And I also believe that the universe is constantly talking to us, constantly directing us, constantly guiding, suggesting. A few weeks ago, I took Daisy on a walk, and as I left the car and I went through the gate, a really clear picture came into my head of knowing that I hadn't got my keys with me. I actually felt the panic of getting back to the car and finding that I hadn't got my keys. And I had a very clear picture and a very clear message saying, you put your keys in a safe place. And I overruled it and I ignored it, and I just decided it was a fear thought and it was silly, and I didn't do it. And when I got back to my car, having had an hour's walk with Daisy, to my utter panic, I found that I didn't have my keys. I didn't have my car keys. And I had to walk back round the entire hour's walk and still couldn't find them. And so I had to phone for help, and a friend came and actually walked it with me again while another friend took Daisy back home. And eventually my friend found the keys. But that was such an interesting incident to think about. Did my fear thought mean that I had manifested that I would lose my keys? And that's what happened. Maybe. What I prefer to think, because it feels truer and it feels more accurate in terms of what my experience was, I had a benign and kindly nudge saying, put your keys safely, because I can see that in one parallel reality here, one reality and potential, you're going to lose your keys. Put them in your bag and do your bag up. And I didn't. I left my bag open, and at one point I had to bend to hold Daisy's collar, at which point, without my realising it, the keys had fallen out because I hadn't done what the guidance had been. I'd very clearly been shown what I needed to do, and I had overridden it. Now I could easily say my fear thought made that happen. I don't believe that's what happened. I believe that my ignoring and overriding the kindly, benign message of guidance that I got actually led to what I'd been warned might happen actually happening, because I didn't put my keys safe. And so within the journey there are choices, and within the journey the universe is always talking to us. It is always guiding us. It is always presenting us with synchronicity. We will hear something, we will see it, there will be a conversation about it. That's how the universe talks to us. And we override it and ignore it at our peril. So that for me was just another moment of proof that I am being guided. Some people call that kind of experience a God wink. So that was a God wink. And I ignored it. And then I spent 2 hours looking for my keys. So that was an interesting one. And I think that I think that's the crux of it, really. We have to be aware that we are forever in partnership. We are forever one with the universe. That is true of everything that's happening, but especially in terms of manifesting. We manifest when we join with the universe in the right way, from the right place, and when we do that, nothing is impossible, because we are beginning to remember how powerful, as willing co-creators within this amazing flow of consciousness that is the universe, that we are willing co-creators within it. So I think those, hopefully, are some points to help think about that question, which was a brilliant question. And my goodness, isn't it something that, we wonder about so often? How do things happen? How do we make things happen? How do we make things happen? I remember a talk by Rupert Spira, who again is an amazing guy in his thinking about spirituality, and he was talking about the fact that, and I think this is true, the fact that we don't always get exactly what we think we're asking for. This is important. So he suggests that instead of thinking in terms of I want an amazing house, or I want to find my ideal partner, that the vibration that we would be holding as we imagine that reality would not be that we would imagine the house or the partner, but we would go beyond the feeling that is underneath those yearnings or those wantings and wishes, which would be to feel safe and secure, and to be loved and able to love. And that those, because they are emotional states and therefore vibrational states, those are what would help us co-create. That we create most effectively and powerfully when we feel the feeling that we're after. So it isn't the house, it's to know that we're secure and safe, It isn't the partner. It isn't the partner. It's that we want to be able to love and be loved. Now, when you put it out there like that, what usually happens, amazingly, is that something so much better than you could ever imagine happens. Because if it's that you want to feel safe and secure, you can absolutely trust with every bit of you that the universe will deliver what you need in order to feel safe and secure. It may not be that house that you have thought you wanted, but it will be the feeling that that house would give you. It may not be that relationship that you believe you want, but it will be the feeling of being loved and being able to give love. It may come in a different way and in a different form, which is why we so easily say, I've been asking for this for ages and it hasn't happened. Yes, it probably has. You've probably not noticed. You probably walked straight past it time and time and time again because you're looking for this one specific, and the universe is offering you an armful. Go for the feeling, because that's what you're really looking for, and the rest will fall into place. The rest will follow. So that's my best attempt to answer Jehan's question. Where am I going wrong? Be general, not specific. Join with the universe in oneness. Viscerally feel the feeling of what it is that you are looking to happen. Don't miss that it might be happening, but in a different form. Be always listening to the synchronicities and the messages which will be guiding you towards this feeling that you have put out there that you want to have. And hold in mind that the universe is a co-creator with you, not a creator out there that you have to try to manipulate or control or make do something or make give you something. You are one with all that is. And this is a benign, generous and loving universe. And it knows what you need way better than you do. And what you need is being read as the feeling that you are longing for. So be open to the fact that that may be delivered in a way that you hadn't seen coming. My goodness, that has certainly happened to me in my life many, many times. Many, many times. And I know that it will be in your life also. So don't be missing it. Don't be missing it. Now I've taught for quite some time, and I'm aware that there may well be questions that people would like to ask. So if there are questions or comments, we've got 7 or 8 minutes left for those if you would like to ask them. So you can either ask them by simply typing them in and I will see them, or you can ask them by asking to actually come into the live itself and talk with me. So that's your choice and entirely up to you. So I'm just going to wait and see if anybody now has anything that they would like to ask. Okay, I'm so sorry. I've just read my parents are dying of COVID right now. I am so sorry. What a terrible experience to be going through. And I feel for you, as I know we all will be doing. This is the most appalling experience we're all going through, isn't it? Frightening, and on a scale that none of us have ever known before. And so I'm not going to try and say something trite to you, because I know that it will be incredibly painful and frightening right now. So I'm just going to send you my love and the love of everybody here. And I will send you the intention that you will be held through this. You will be held through this. And it will be okay. Not in the way that you would want, not in the way that you wish for, but it will be okay. It will be okay, and they will be okay. They will be okay because death is not what we think. And the grief will be awful, and I am so sorry for that. But you also will be okay. And we send you our love right now. Is there anything else that anybody would like to say or to ask? I have a friend who has just said, Daisy, the pictures were awesome. I posted some pictures of Daisy of our walk earlier today. I showed you Daisy, didn't I, earlier in the live stream. Yeah, she is gorgeous, and she's a great comfort at times too. So I'm scrolling. Louise, yeah, the feeling is the prayer. The feeling is the prayer. It's that simple. 5 words to remember. The feeling is the prayer. That's it. That is it. So many waves. So many waves. And thank yous. Thank you for the comments as well. I'm so glad that it has been helpful. A quick question here. How would you typically word an affirmation in general? That's a difficult one because I don't use them. I don't use them. I join with the universe and I feel what I need to feel. I feel what I need to feel. I don't actually need words. I can use words. So my words would be the sort of words that I described holding the mug of tea. So it would be, in this moment, all is well with me. And all will always be well with me. I am one with the universe, and all is well. I will always be safe, and I will always be held, and I will always be guided. All is well with me, and all will always be well with me. That would probably be the only affirmation I would ever use. And I might not say it out loud. I would feel my way into that feeling. I would feel my way into the feeling. Yes, absolutely. So it's really the feeling that's better. Words mean nothing. Words have no power, and words themselves only have a vibrational signature when they are attached to a feeling. The feeling is enough. The feeling is the prayer. The feeling is the prayer. That's what all the research into vibration says. It is emotion. It is the feelings that are vibrational. Thoughts by themselves are not. Hi, hello. The emotion is what sends out a vibrational signature, which the universe then meets, and which leads to the act of co-creation. So the feeling is the prayer. Great, great. Okay, I'll be doing this. I felt every word you say. Brill. Brill. So I'm aware that the time is coming up. I really hope it's been helpful. It was a really quick attempt to romp through what was a very big question, but I hope that it's been of help. And you know that you can always message me directly for the questions that you may have, and I will come in and I will answer them to the best of my ability in a live. But for now, thank you for showing up. Thank you for dropping by. Thank you for all the waves and the hearts and the lovely, lovely messages that you're sending now. And happy manifesting. Feel it. The feeling is the prayer. Take care of you. Go gently and talk again soon. Big love. Bye for now.